Hi, this is Pastor Ken from Vineyard of Hope in Osawatomie, Kansas. My prayer for you today is that God would touch your heart in a real and tangible way for a breakthrough in your life as you hear this message. Thank you for watching, and I want to give you a personal invitation to come and see what we're all about. The church information is at the end of this video. Now I hope you enjoy this message. God bless.
Okay, so we've been talking about radical faithfulness lately, and I don't need this one. He didn't see it. It's okay. All right. And so with Thursday nights, we've kind of been on this kick of, all right, so we're talking about these certain subjects. What do they actually mean? We've said radical faithfulness left and right, and I'm like, all right, I know what that means. And then somebody asked me, okay, well, what is radical faithfulness? And I'm like, well, it means really out there. And so then I was like, dang it, I got to look it up. I don't know what it means. So radical in itself means very different from the usual or traditional, extreme, or taboo. And then faithfulness is constant, a firm adherence or a firm commitment, like you're stuck to it like white on rice. So we're going to be extremely white on rice. Let's go Daniel 3:12 through when I end. God gave me this. It's the story, we've heard it time and time again, of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and I'm like, God, I really don't want to talk about that. Pastor Ken's talked about that before, and he just would not get it out of my head. So, going on to here, let's talk about some rad dudes, some rad Jews. Says, so there's the decree that states those who refuse to obey to be thrown in the blazing furnace. So King Nebuchadnezzar put up this statue and had all these crazy rules that he wanted to do. And it says, but there are some Jews, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, whom you have put in charge of the province of Babylon. They pay no attention to you, your majesty. They refuse to serve your gods and do not worship the gold statue you have set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar flew into a rage and ordered that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be brought before him. And when they were brought in, Nebuchadnezzar said to them, is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? You got to say that with like a flow. Like you can't say it out of order. Sorry, I tried it earlier today and it didn't work. It says, is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you refuse to serve my gods or to worship the gold statue I have set up? I will give you one more chance to bow down and worship the statue that I made when you hear the sound of the musical instruments. But if you refuse, you'll be thrown immediately into the blazing furnace. And then what God will be able to rescue you from my power? This is a dude, like literally a guy, like as there as I am here, saying, what God will be able to save you from my power? Well, let me show you. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied, oh, Nebuchadnezzar, like, oh, you silly little man, says, we do not need to defend ourselves before you. Why? Because they are children of God. You don't need to defend yourself to anybody. That's key one in radical faithfulness. It says, we do not need to defend ourselves before you. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God whom we serve is able to save us. So they're saying, let me show you what God will save me from your power. The God whom we serve will be able to save us. He will rescue us from your power, your majesty. But even if he doesn't, we want to make it clear to you, your majesty, that we will never serve your God or worship the golden statue set before you. Now that's where I'm going to end. We all know that they were thrown into the fire, that the guys that threw them in, the flames were so hot that they died immediately. We know all that. The part that shows their radical faithfulness here is they said, if we're thrown into the fire, the God whom we serve is able to save us. They didn't say he will save us. They said he is able to save us. Meaning that they know in their mind that he is capable of either putting this little force field bubble around them or letting them walk in there and their skin's completely untouched, like they got some like petro on them or whatever. But even if he doesn't, that is the big part right there. But even if he doesn't, they're still okay with that. Even if he doesn't, we want to make it clear to you that we will never serve your gods or worship the golden statue you have set up, because they know there is one true God. They stood their ground in what they knew, no matter the consequences. And they were rewarded with their faithfulness. They were thrown into this fire. The people that threw them in couldn't even get close to the furnace, so I'm assuming they walked in themselves. Like, I don't know how they threw themselves in there if the people that were there walking with them flew backwards and were caught on fire and died immediately. I mean, okay, sorry, we're going, sort of thing. I don't know how it happened, but it says that they were in there and that the people that looked and saw there were 4 of them in there. They were rewarded for their faithfulness with their lives and an insane testimony. This testimony has been a gateway or even a turning point for much of this world and the people that we talk to in their salvation to God. They were in fire, people. Nick, you said you've been on fire? Was it fun? No. Exactly. These guys came out totally cool with a huge testimony saying, we're okay, God took care of us. And that's a big thing. People have found their salvation from that. I want my life. Like, I have a testimony. It's not a great one, in my own opinion. I mean, I was raised here. I'm sure there's some cool little niche in there somewhere, hopefully. But I want my life to be the reason other people's lives are changed because of my radical faithfulness. I would rather disappoint people and face God forever than disappoint God to simply please a person for a moment. That's radical faithfulness to me. And it's really cool because they're in this fire. And that's just blowing my mind. And they're totally fine. Psalms 56:4, 11, 118:6, and Hebrews 13:6 all kind of say the same thing. It's, the Lord is with me. I'm not afraid. What can mere man do to me? Radical faithfulness is our superpower as human beings, as Christians. Radical faithfulness is knowing that nobody can touch you. Nobody can mess with you. Nobody can steal it from you. It's a real thing. It's nothing you can see, but you can feel it. People can beat the snot out of you. People can tell you can't go to church and you have to hide in someone's basement if you're in China to have church. That's radical faithfulness. And honestly, a little bit of my testimony, I thought it was a big thing. I thought it was radical. When I graduated and moved out of my house and I was like, I'm going to go to church and my mom's not going to make me. I thought that was radical. Okay? Radical faithfulness is going and moving and doing things that you think are taboo. That was something that was taboo to me back then. Going to church without my mom making me. Without my mom calling me on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. You going to church? Yeah, I'm already going. Anyways, moving on. So, radical faithfulness is our superpower. How do we get this crazy, awesome superpower? It's already there. You've already got it. It's living inside of you, and it's just glowing like this little tiny ember. The Holy Spirit is within you. We simply need to quit pushing the hypothetical snooze button on it, let go, and let God come in and just blow on those embers and ignite this stinking inferno inside of you. Just let it go and fly, tongues of fire everywhere. Okay, Nick, don't answer this question. If you were on fire, what would you do? Anybody? Really? Okay. See, that's what we're thinking. We think, okay, that's a logical thing. You're on fire, your brain is gone. What do? Run. Thank you. And he didn't read my stuff. He didn't want to. Okay. You run around with a sense of urgency, like, oh my God, I'm on fire, get it off. You don't think stop, drop, and roll. At least my brain doesn't. Sorry, I'm a YP. It's interactive. You gotta talk to me too. Thank you, honey. And so you run around with a sense of urgency. So think about this. If we all ran around with the same sense of urgency, that other people need to know this too. Other people need to feel this too. Like, oh my gosh, catch my fire, catch my fire, catch my fire. Okay, please don't run like that because people might actually run away from you. But like a sense of urgency, like help, I'm on fire. But don't put my fire out. Let me give you some of that too. Get it? Cool, not our heads. We're getting where I'm going. All right, we run around with a sense of urgency. All right, grab a marshmallow. Let's watch the world burn. Sorry, Okay, now I'm hoping people have heard this before. I've heard the phrase, some people just want to watch the world burn. But they're saying it in like an old man that's savage sort of way for my youth kids. We all know it. Some people just want to watch the world burn. Yeah, I do. In this sense, could you imagine the party we would have if everybody had this like Holy Spirit fire and we were all jumping and getting it? Y'all felt it on Sunday. I know you did. I saw people jumping. I know I was, but whatever. Man, it'd be like something off of Trolls. Everyone's seen the Trolls movie. I know, singing, dancing, praising our Jesus. I'll get it to you. I got it for you. I'll let you borrow it, Jeff. Yeah, we'll watch it. We'll have a party. We'll have to like switch out some God songs in there. But it would be a sick party, right? Yeah. Everybody, grab your hair and get you nut. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, that is exactly what should happen on a daily basis. Not just on Sunday when we come here and we get excited. You should be jumping and praising. Jump on your bed for crying out loud. Be a kid for a second and be like, ooh, it's 3 feet off the ground. I'm going to get that much closer to Jesus. Me and my kids were jumping, singing this afternoon. That's what I was saying. My prayer is that you don't leave these doors, no matter what service it is, with gosh, I wrote that. Sorry. With even a sunburn or your eyebrows singed off from the fire of the excitement of the person next to you. But that you would be completely engulfed in your own, that you would make it a priority in your own prayer to come in here and experience the tangible presence of God like it's a wildfire that completely consumes you. That you can't shut up. Can I say shut up? That you can't shut up, that you can't stop talking about Jesus. I'll be honest. I am that person that's like, honey, can you just please stop? Like, you're getting me. Like, my husband is on fire for Jesus. And he doesn't shut up about it. It gets a little annoying. So I'm like, honey, go tell the neighbor. Go tell the neighbor. I know, I got it. I'm with you, baby. Go tell the neighbor. And so, anyways. And so, yeah. But seriously, this wildfire that consumes you, and that anybody that comes within 5 feet of you catches it too, because they're like, whoa, what's wrong with that person? Not in a, oh man, she's crazy, get away, but what is that? I want some of that. Okay, now think of this. There's a whole lot of bad and ugly and yuck outside of these walls. But what do you do with a wildfire? You fight fire with fire. Think of all that bad and ugly, and if we came out there and we were completely on fire for God, we would be unstoppable. We're talking about superpowers and fire. We would be unshakable. We would be unstoppable. And say we go out there and somebody shoots down my friend, and they're like, oh, well, your superpower's down, man, hurt your feelings, whatever. First off, let's watch the bait of Satan so that doesn't happen. Second, I'd be right there with my sister to lift her up and be like, no, we got this, let's go, next person. They're not moving, let's dust our feet off and keep going. People would be healed. Like, not, oh, I prayed for you, does it feel better? Yeah, kind of. No, it would be like, oh my gosh, I am like completely straightened out. I don't need Dr. Cook. Yeah. People would be raised from the dead, not in like a zombie sort of way, but in like, you're on your deathbed, but now I'm running around doing cartwheels down the aisle at church, sort of raised from the dead. No one would ever be cold or hungry. There wouldn't be no such thing as homelessness unless you wanted to be like a wilderness man. I know somebody that's homeless, and they'd rather be like, they're fine and anyways, whatever. You wouldn't live outside unless you wanted to. Let's just say that. No one would feel unattended to, unloved, or unwanted, and there would be no more hurt. Now, if that sounds too perfect to you, it's okay, because it is. It sounds like heaven to me. No more hurt, no more yuckies, no more nothing, no more bad people, no more worrying about if my kid's outside on the sidewalk and is somebody going to come by and scrape them up. It is too perfect, because it sounds a whole lot like heaven to me. But let heaven come. Yeah. It says in our Lord's Prayer, on earth as in heaven. Yeah. On earth as in heaven. Right there in, it's black and white and red? On earth as in heaven. That means to me that the possibility is real. That heaven can be here, and it starts with us. So let's catch the world on fire. Let's watch it all burn, grab some marshmallows, and sing everybody. Yeah. But for it to be real, we got to do something. We got to freaking blow on those embers, guys. We got to get excited. Don't just sit here and clap your hands on Sunday morning when we're singing songs. Those are words that you're promising to our Father. Yeah. Get excited. Jump around. If you feel like screaming, scream. Yeah. Seriously, honestly, I thought Missy was nuts. That woman is quiet. When I saw her worshiping, I was like, oh man, what did she do at that women's conference? But then I started diving in. I was like, you know what? I kind of want some of that. Yeah. I mean, that's a little nuts looking, but I want some of that. Yeah. And I started diving, and I started really thinking about what those words we sing and what Pastor Ken is be up here preaching, what that actually means. And man, I was talking to the neighbor yesterday. I didn't talk to my husband because, you know, he'd already done her day. He was the one that talked to me, but I was talking to my neighbor because I was like, anyways, you can't keep it inside. It's like word vomit, but the good kind. Not the, oh shoot, I just said something I regret, but the, let me tell you about my Jesus, you know. Yeah. Yeah. It's great. I love it. I'm excited. I want to see you guys excited. I'm getting hot up here just talking about it. I'm on fire. You want some of this? Should I run around and start hugging people, see if you get some of my fire?